I remember driving down I-80 from Sacramento to Vacaville, and my awareness field said, look up, forward, look up into the sky. I'm like, oh, while I'm driving, it's kind of a bit dodgy because I like to really focus on the road when I'm driving. So I did, and I saw an object flying really fast, stop right in front of me, like many miles away, and then go straight up at a 90-degree angle. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Welcome
To another episode
Driving to the Res
with your favorite hosts,
Larry
Bazell and
Inelia Benz.
We like to have a little bit of fun on our intro.
Yes, it's quick and easy. Quick and easy one. So this is probably, you listen to the free first part of our podcast.
Possibly.
And there's also a paid second part of our podcast.
There is.
It includes the perspectives and sometimes questions from our panel of experts.
Who are?
A flight engineer, corporate recruiter, doctor of education, an architect, all who moonlight as psychics or mystics also.
Yes, they do.
So they have pretty interesting perspectives if you think about it.
Yes.
So we're going to do a little different. This will be, I don't know if we started already, but I'm pretty sure this will be the first show, that the second part of the show, which is usually paid and,
for our supporters.
It's paid. It's for our supporters. We talk about
very interesting
things that we definitely necessarily can't talk about on YouTube and places like that. So first, I don't know, 5-10 minutes of the second part.
We have in a teaser.
We'll just include in the free part. So you get an idea what's in there.
Yeah.
So if you do like it, go to drivingtotheres.com and you'll see links in there that call for a full episode link. You push on that and you can subscribe. I think it's $8 a month.
And you get all the second episodes that we've ever
And then you'll get all the second hours also.
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty cool.
Sorry, second hours.
Second hours. We call it the second hour, but
Yes.
Sometimes
Usually,
it's 2 hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Mostly it's over an hour.
It's over an hour. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this week we want to talk about the mystical effects of this month's mass media headlines.
For December 2024.
And it's not the headlines for the month, it's the headlines for yesterday.
One day.
Right.
But they're kind of repeating, and then also variations of the same headline are happening.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read a little bit of the newsletter that we're basing our podcast on. Yeah.
Yep.
And then we can start discussing the headlines. Before I start, though, I have to say I've been looking forward. We've been talking about doing one of these types of episodes where we look at headlines and then our viewpoints or our seeings around those headlines for quite some time. I've been trying to push it through. But there was always something else happening, so we had to cover that instead, right? But we're getting there, and I think you'll enjoy it. One of the reasons why we started Driving to the Res and the name is that Larry and I would have these amazing conversations while we were driving to the Res, which is in the middle of nowhere. And
Usually took us about an hour.
Minimum an hour to get to anywhere, like a store, and then an hour back. So It was a long drive, and we had some amazing conversations. And so we wanted to share those conversations. That's why we started recording in the truck originally. And this time I wanted to do this because we do this often, but we've never actually included it in the podcast, where we would look at headlines or items in the news and then discuss it at a mystical level or what that might mean. So I'm really looking forward to it, especially in the second part with all the panelists. Can't wait.
Incidentally, this process is one that I underwent in high school. I was in a special class called oceanography. Although we didn't speak about oceanography, I don't think even once there in that class. Goodness. And it was a special 2-hour class, a 1-hour class by invitation only.
Okay.
And we mostly looked at the newspapers and the headlines and then truthed them.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, I wouldn't say that we're truthing these things because there's not really any value in that for me. But I'm more interested in the mystical energies behind why those headlines are up there.
Right. Well, we're talking about headlines, and that was a class on the stories, and it concluded articles and whatnot. And the idea of the class was to expand your awareness around what you're reading, to make sure you're not just getting walked down a path
and accept everything
and accept what's being said, because maybe, a
maybe it might
number
not be true.
Right.
As we have found recently.
And then maybe it is true, but it's like worth, not just taking everything at face value.
Right. Many of us are making plans for 2025. This energy that of making planning of planning for the next 12 months has a huge effect on our co-created reality. Headlines and topics being broadly pushed and discussed on the mass media outlets, including what was one time considered alternative media, at this time are not coincidental. They're well planned and released to have very specific effects on our human psyche and your plans for the future. I'm listing 4 headlines and the mystical energies linked to them, and what these energies are designed to do: prepare us for or create. This is purely an informational newsletter. It informs us of what effects behind the headlines are designed to have. It does not mean they will have those effects on you, and we are informing ourselves about them. Chances are they will not. We're nobody's victims or saviors, for that matter. So if you inform yourself, you cannot become a victim of these things. And it's like when you really look at something, you can see what's behind it. And you don't accept it just like, this was on the top of news of all the outlets, so let's think it's true,
Yeah, kind of like, let's say it's, October, and you see there's a bunch of leaves on the ground, and the news headlines are, all the trees are dying, all the leaves have fallen off, and they're the wrong color.
And you think, that happens every year? It's called autumn?
But if you didn't know, maybe you come from a place that doesn't have trees.
Or they could say, normally this is called autumn, but this year it's actually something different.
It's being caused by something entirely different. Yeah. So, I mean, you can see how you get led down some paths.
Yes. So, we chose
first headline,
4 headlines. We chose 4 headlines. The first one:
the U.S. is deploying additional resources to solve the mystery of the drone sightings.
Okay, so let's give a little summary of what the drone sightings are.
If you've been living under a rock,
like me,
like you, then you would not know that there have been a pattern of massively increased sightings of drones, is the word that's being used to describe things that are flying with lights that blink, that have the noise of a drone, or don't have the noise of a drone. They're lights that are wiggly, or just lights, or they're airplanes, or they're all manner of things, right? Mm-hmm. But for some reason, in this particular time, this is being amplified. The headline of, oh my God, look at these drones, and go outside and look. And one of the things that you probably know, most people look down, never up. Mm-hmm. Never go outside in the evening and look at the stars or the sky or anything. They have no idea what's going on up there.
Yeah.
The vast majority.
One of the little exercises I used to give to my students when I lived in Madrid would be to get in a map, it's like you have to get from A to B, a really well-known route for them. Like you got to get to the store, your local store, and then come back home. But you're not allowed to look like eye level or below. You have to only look at the lines in the buildings, top of the buildings and the sky. I don't think anybody made it. It's like, and it was like, oh my God, I never knew that there was such a beautiful balcony and window up there and stuff. Of course, the second time they got it, but it was really fascinating. And it's like, I learned it from my mystical teacher, like a major had a teacher there too. And the first time I was like fascinated. It was like, this is very different. Very, very different. And if I was being driven around in a taxi or whatever, I would only look up at the buildings up there, and it's like a part of the city you would never see. You had never seen, even though you might have gone down that road thousands of times.
Mm-hmm.
So that, or the sky, like you said. I remember driving down I-80 from Sacramento to Vacaville, and my awareness field said, look up, forward, look up into the sky. I'm like, oh, well, I'm driving. It's kind of a bit dodgy because I like to really focus on the road when I'm driving. So I did, and I saw an object flying really fast, stop right in front of me, like many miles away, and then go straight up at a 90-degree angle. And I'm like, oh, okay. Which is a little bit related, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how would I know beforehand? So that's some of the topics, it's like, what is it? And why are they calling them drone all of a sudden? And it's like, one of them said it was a bus-sized drones or something.
Yeah, bus size and car size and truck sized, all the different
Football
sizes.
size.
But if you look at the headline, it has a feeling around it. If you look at the effect, so at a mass media level and at an alternative news level and at a channelers level and even in my smallest the least audience kind of fella guys, all of them have the same message happening right now, which basically is encouraging everyone to go outside at night and look up. From CNN to Forbes to Cliff High to
what's that boy with the remote viewing?
Courtney Brown's little remote viewers channel. Yeah, the remote viewers say, yep, on 2 days before this started, we said it was going to start, and it did start.
Yeah.
And they had earlier said, if you want to take pictures of these ships in the sky, you have to have this camera that works at an ultraviolet.
It doesn't have a mirror, and also,
no mirror. It has to go in a
special...
spectrum beyond a visible, and it has to be really super fast, like 2 million.
Yeah, it's insanely fast.
So it's like commercially, you can buy one, it costs $1,000 or something.
Thousands.
You can set the camera up and
thousands of
take
dollars.
a picture, and you'll get
$1,000. Thousands.
A couple thousands of dollars.
Not couple. Way more than that. Anyways.
Whatever. You could buy one.
You can buy one.
You could buy one. You don't need like $10,000 to go buy one.
You might. The last time I looked, it was 6,000 plus several thousand to have it all fitted up. So.
That's still less than 10,000.
All right. No.
Either way, it's a little bit out of reach. If you're really determined, you could do it.
Anyways, they said in those days that you don't need any of that camera stuff.
Now you don't need any of that.
Thank goodness we didn't buy it because we didn't have it. Anyways.
You just use your phone and go outside and look up, and you'll be able to see us now. And it was us as the alien craft, right? Yeah. So the speculations from various channels, including the mainstream and the non-mainstream. The mainstream is generally this. It's a funny kind of a thing. Did you notice that one of the senators or representatives said he talked to guys in the higher ups? On the higher up guys' side, there was an Iranian mothership with Chinese drones that they had been launched, right? And he was sincere and serious about it.
Oh
right?
my God.
And the Pentagon said, no, that's utter bullshit and that's not true. As a matter of fact, we don't know what they are, but we know they're not dangerous.
And right? How is that even possible to know?
Right, which is, it's just confusion, right?
It's very good. I love confusion, yeah.
So the UFO guys say it's UFOs, and the drones are there to distract you from the real UFOs.
Right.
And the non-UFO guys say it's drones to
cover up the real UFOs.
And then the other one is it's Iranians with Chinese bought Iranian drones come here to do a drone warfare on us. And then another group says it's drones from the U.S. military to go find missing nuclear bombs from Ukraine.
And another one says it's UFOs with the ETs on it. On them. Yes. All right.
But all the same, they all want you outside looking up.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something happening that everybody needs to go outside and watch. Or they want everybody to go outside and watch. Mm-hmm.
Yes, there you go. There you go. But also, it creates an enormous amount of division because people who are saying, finally the proof that UFOs are here. And then the people who are saying, those are just drones. Some people, a group of hackers got in and flew a bunch of drones on top of the cities. And other people are saying it's a government technology and they're not keeping us informed. So all of the stories are out there for all of the people to pick one that fits into their own personal reality.
True
And
story.
then make division, like as usual, and arguments and the invalidation of each other and their viewpoints. Amplify threat tremendously. Yeah.
Right. And one of my friends has been posting, a couple of them actually, been posting pictures of one of the drones that they got. And it has the red light and the green light, and the red light and the green light, and then in the middle, it's the man on the toilet. Made very small. So when you zoom in, you find a guy on the toilet.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so the memes are
Beginnings.
huge.
Yes.
There's so many memes now. Yeah.
All right, well, the drone thing is an evolving thing. It might have resolved itself by the time we're, release this video, because we're on a little bit of a time delay.
Yes.
We record
A couple of
one
weeks
day,
later.
and then our panel listens and records with us the next,
Yes.
and then it gets put onto the release. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how this
This
drone
evolves.
sighting thing resolves itself. Oftentimes we get this big exciting, and it goes about 2 weeks, and then
It either vanishes completely
Vanishes,
or
takes
changes
over the
into
world.
something else. Yeah. So one of the things that I talked about at a mystical level was to watch out for the words angels and demons, religion, God, attached to any type of unidentified flying object phenomenon. And if you do hear those, whether directly by the person or they suddenly change the subject and start talking about something else, which happens to be demons and angels, just after talking about UFOs, you know that they're part of the global narrative. That's the link that they want to create on the masses, demons and angels. And
most often I find it in the comment section.
the comment section is not so obvious. It depends on who is commenting, right? And because it's like sometimes it can be narrative. It's hardly, to me anyways, it's a little bit harder to separate. Is this part of the narrative that this outlet is doing? Because of the comments being all about religions and demons and angels, or is it not? And the bots took over to put it into the narrative, right? Because that link is mostly being done at a subconscious level. So you might be watching a video in your favorite news outlet on your computer, and then suddenly these ads go by and next to you with pictures of angels and demons talking about, I don't know, some computer game. But your subconscious mind is watching this UFO stuff and seeing on the side, without paying attention, pictures of angels and demons. And that is how it's being programmed into the masses.
To be more accepting of angels and demons?
To put that idea,
put demons into your
connecting
mind,
them.
so you think aliens are demons, or
To continue a type of war mentality, right? Space, whatever, soap. Oh, no, soap opera, but what's it called?
telenovela,
No. It's
space war.
Yeah, galactic empires and things. And, excuse me. So, it's to link that continuation of the light-dark paradigm, which is power over others and war-based and fear-based. So they're linking it to that to capture all of those individuals who are still choosing that, right? And they don't see the larger picture. What is this? And why are we exposing ourselves as a human collective to these other technologies right now, right? Which is part of the split. All right, so that was the first headline. And should we go on to the next one?
Sure.
Or did you have more to say about that one?
No, got it.
Shall I read the part that I did on it? Or we covered it really, haven't we?
I think you should read it.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
All right, so US is deploying additional resources to solve mysteries of drone sightings. That was the headline. It has been it has been fascinating to watch the multiple sightings videos showing mysterious objects flying above our skies. The theories are everywhere from religious extremists or Chinese landing a drone mothership to fly over the USA to the drone being objects deployed to hide the presence of UFOs to they're an alien invasion. Like all the headlines these days, the top headlines are busy dividing the population on what these flying things could be, and also scaring the bejeebies out of them.
Right. Kind of reminds me of the cameras in the post office thing. The guys that do First Amendment audits with their camera in there, and people really start to freak out about the fact that they're video recording them, even though they're surrounded by video recording cameras on the roof and the ceilings and all over the place.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of strange.
Yeah.
So now you're terrified of drones.
Right.
Or anything in the sky that's a light. Yeah.
Okay, headline number 2. Strong storm brings a riot in San Francisco, a tornado warning. Strange and odd weather, not just in San Francisco. This is my writing, right? But all over the world. Lowest temperatures, highest wind speeds, highest temperatures, rainfall where there shouldn't be any, and none where there should. The reasons given are wrapped up in confusion and fear.
Generally supporting one narrative, which is
Global warming.
Human-caused global warming, or
Global warming, I think
they changed the climate change.
Climate change. It used to be
anthropogenic
ice
climate change.
age.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
So it keeps changing, but anyways, it's the narrative of it's inevitable, we're gonna die. Remember the ozone hole? We were gonna all be dead by 2015.
Yeah,
It was a scientific fact, and there was nothing we could do about it.
Well, we could stop using hairspray.
Oh yeah, the hairspray and deodorants.
Yeah, spraying deodorants. We don't have those. We saved it.
True. Yeah, we saved it.
So the headlines also in the San Francisco thing is like, never before has there ever been a tornado warning in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first time it's ever happened. It's rare weather. It's rare that never happens.
It's never happened before.
Flash floods in Saudi Arabia or places like that, where it's like we have in our minds salt desert, never rains there, but I guess when it does rain, it really rains.
Yeah.
And also remember in Spain,
What about Spain?
they had us flood down the middle of the road in Spain, and
When?
I don't know, a month ago too.
Oh yeah. So yeah,
Big giant floods, and weather that's extreme. It gets a lot of headlines.
Yes, a lot of headlines. And it's always, every day there's somewhere else in the
Somewhere
world.
that's going to be one of the headlines. Today I checked from yesterday. This is the headline today. The headline is there's the world's worst
tornado?
Not a tornado. It was a cyclone.
Cyclone.
Hit someplace in the places where cyclones always go, and did the same thing that cyclones always do.
But it wasn't the headline, right?
But it was the headline, yes. It was
the headline is the worst ever.
the worst cyclone to hit this area in 1,000 years or something.
Yeah, and the largest number of deaths and all this.
Right, which isn't to minimize that, when you have storms and floods, that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But every day we're going to get a headline of somewhere on the planet that's happening today.
Yeah.
And maybe 2 places.
Right.
So the idea is to ramp up our fear around
Guilt.
climate and storm and
Yeah.
guilt around it's our fault that we did it because you're driving your dumb car.
Right.
You're such a selfish
Mm-hmm.
bugger. Okay.
Yeah. So division 2, right? Causing a lot of division,
Confusion and fear, yeah.
confusion, and fear.
Okay, the next one was
2 Russian tankers sink in the Black Sea, spilling 4,300 tons of oil. Ukraine accuses Moscow of recklessness amid risk of ecological damage to marine environment.
yes, Ukraine should know. I mean, they haven't been blasting the hell out of each other. Not that that does anything.
No, that doesn't hurt any animals.
No, all the blowing
all
up
the
missiles
environment.
and explosions and lighting that stuff off and driving all the tanks around, and
That
I'm
doesn't
sure they're
hurt
being
the
careful with
animals
their oil spills
Yeah.
in their little war, right?
They're not using oil. They're not spilling it anywhere.
So clearly, the headline is designed to make somebody the bad guy,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody is the good guy.
Who's the bad guy?
Russia's the
The
bad
Russians
guy.
did it.
The Russians did it. We have a lot of things those Russians do around our house. They hide our cords, the extension cords.
Yeah, they had
You
those.
need a longer one, and you cannot
The
find
Russians
it
took
because
it.
the Russians took it.
Well,
always
last
took
time it
it.
was the Chinese.
Oh, the Chinese took it. Yeah, they did for a little while.
Yeah.
But now the Russians
The
are
Russians
doing
are
it.
back again. Yes.
So when you consume or you walk down the road or you go anywhere publicly, like the restaurants, the bars, the train stations, whatever, even now at the gas station, I don't know if you've noticed because you usually don't fill up the gas.
No, I don't.
There's TVs on the gas station.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those.
Right.
Yeah.
So even
And
though
they're really loud.
even though you think, well, I don't watch CNN or any of that
It
other
comes
stuff,
in.
it gets to you.
In
It's
a
all these
subconscious
stages that
way,
are coming
all the
in.
states, yeah.
Right. So if you're aware, if you're conscious of this, it's not like you're immune to it.
Right.
Because you can still want to go buy a dang Toyota truck because they're the best trucks in the whole wide world, right?
Not according to you.
Not according to me. But you could still want one, and that was a pretty effective advertising.
Yes.
And a good, decent, I mean, it wasn't a terrible truck. I mean, some people love them. But it gets through.
Yes.
It gets through.
Yeah.
And you just start carrying that around, and then pretty soon you own it. And then when and you're talking about it, you're starting to say, yeah, those freaking Russians, man, they're so irresponsible with their
They're going
oil
to
ships.
righteousness,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're horrible, those guys. And so that's the started to create this reality that sort of amplifies itself with their co-creators around you who also now agree, yeah, those damn Russians, they should never have tankers over there. Right. They need to take care of their tankers better.
Yes.
Because we don't. We do over here.
Right.
Except for that few of those that, what was that, Exxon? Oh, well, let's not go there.
And how did the two of them sink in the Black Sea? I mean, two of them really at the same time? We didn't.
Because the
tell us.
Ukrainians say they did not take care of them very well.
Okay, fine.
And they had a big storm in this Black Sea, and they
we
broke
can
up.
make up the story that goes around it, I suppose.
None of us are going to go to the Black Sea and check it out.
See what really happened.
If we wanted to truth this, we would have a very big challenge because all of the information that we'd probably be able to access will be colored by
one government or another.
One government or another. And the Russians will say our ships were perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And it was a rogue wave that took them out.
Oh, there's what spill?
What spill? There was no spill. Are you kidding me? That was like
30 years ago.
30 years ago, or 100 gallons or whatever. Who knows? You won't get the right answer. Never a straight answer. Well, that's nasty. Sorry.
When the war in the Ukraine is not enough to create a bad guy, ocean oil spill saved the day. Division on righteousness. If the light workers are still rooting for Ukraine, they are more likely to do so now. They're still not rooting for Ukraine. They will now. Because, they called it.
So that'll be one of the big news. One of the big news stories is bad Russians, good Ukrainians.
There you go.
That's pretty much.
That's it.
Let's get us a headline.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. The fourth one.
You knew he was going to show up, didn't you?
I know. I knew he was going to show up. ABC News agrees to pay $15 million to settle Trump's defamation suit. The lawsuit stemmed from a top anchor's inaccurate on-air remarks about a sexual abuse case involving Trump. Trump always gives a good headline, doesn't he? Yes. He's loved and hated by so many that no matter where they stand, his name will bring in division. The win in this case for Trump is probably politically designed to bring topics back to the table. Why are like dark headlines interesting to those of us who choose the light paradigm?
Oh. Pause.
Pause? Okay.
Pause. Thank you. So yes, Trump is perfectly designed to bring division to the table.
Oh my gosh. Best soap opera actor on the face of the planet.
Totally Oscar worthy. Or
not really,
Pulitzer
but
worthy or something worthy.
Yeah, the comedy one. What's that one?
I don't know. I don't really watch the awards. I figured out I learned a long time ago the awards were for something that they weren't actually for. I thought they were for like they did a great job.
Really? You saw it?
I did. Oh
my gosh.
I didn't realize they were another form of advertising.
Oh my goodness.
Either way.
I
did find out by watching the movies that the reviewers told me were terrible.
Really good usually.
That was a good movie. So
the Rotten Tomatoes, how many do they get? Yes.
Yeah, if they get a bad review, probably it's not that bad of a movie.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, I remember years ago, before they had internet, I was reading the reviews for a movie that we had just gone to see. And I thought it was a wonderful movie. I can't remember which one it was. And the reviews were
Horrible.
horrific.
Horrible, I know.
And I'm like,
Did they see
that's when I figured it out. And then there was this other movie that had the best reviews, and it was such a terrible movie. I mean, the acting, everything was terrible. Why are you getting such good reviews? I couldn't understand. And I thought, oh, they're made up. And yeah, so we don't want the population to watch this. We'll give them bad reviews. We want them to watch this. Give them good reviews.
Right. So similarly with Trump, you can have an article that says he's the best thing since sliced bread, and it's going to make, you're going to have like, everybody loves your article, and everybody also hates your article. And you could say Trump is the worst thing that ever happened since sliced bread, which actually it turns out sliced bread wasn't a good thing.
Right.
Because before there was sliced bread, there was bread with a crust, and the crust kept it from molding and rotting.
Oh.
And once they sliced it, it goes bad immediately. So they had to put in a whole bunch of preservatives.
Oh no, I didn't know that. See?
So the best thing since sliced bread was not slicing it.
Oh my god. I had no idea.
I
See,
had no
I learned
idea.
something new.
So with Trump, you're going to get a guarantee.
You're guaranteed to.
Guaranteed, practically speaking. Nobody's not going to care what you just wrote about. So long you say Trump in it, right?
Right.
Somebody's going to be happy and somebody's going to be pissed. Which is ideal in a
Political
politician
scenario, yeah.
or a president or a public personal. They only care that you don't care. If you don't care about them, that's bad. But if you care, good or bad, that matters. That helps.
Yeah.
Because we want to recruit.
Yeah.
In order to recruit for, well, you can
Like
you
that
can read
paradigm,
the
right?
you
The
can read your next
vision.
paragraph
Okay.
now, but do it slowly so people can hear you.
Okay.
Just calm down.
Why are light dark headlines interesting to those of us who have chosen the light paradigm? Because being informed about how we can often be seduced back into fear, stress, and righteousness will give us a better chance to stay in the light. So if you're informed how we can be seduced back, we have better chances of not being seduced back, right? Because we know what's happening.
Well, why are they interesting though?
That's why. Because
They're interesting so we can be informed.
yeah.
Well-
Yeah. So to me, anyways, that's why they're interesting to me. Because they're like, oh, okay, here's another one, right? Like seducing
Most
back
of
the light
the
workers.
light workers that I know
I'm not interested in
pretend that
headlines.
they don't even see these, they weren't even aware, and I'm the only one who brings it up.
You're part of a very, very unique group, honey. Because the majority of light workers that I know, they're very into it.
They're very into it,
Yeah.
and that's so that they
And
can
some
be
of them told
informed.
me off for not telling them not to vote before the election because they went and voted and then they had to revoke their vote and their agreements around it. And I'm like, I've been saying this for 10, 15 years now. Well, you should have said it louder.
And sooner. Louder and sooner.
Sooner. Yeah. And what do you mean we can't hate Trump? So, yeah, it's interesting because, well, to me, it's interesting, I suppose. And other people that I know are interested in seeing the energy behind the headlines. How is this dividing me and my opinions with other people? How is this pulling me into fear or stress? And then you can start getting into the energy lines, the mystical energy lines that will show you the agenda behind the headlines. And yeah, like you did, like wait a day and see what the next one is in that topic, because it will be very similar topics, right? There will be these days the UFO thing, which we called, right? I said that was going to happen.
You did.
And other people did too
Yeah, definitely.
for this year. Other people have been saying it's going to happen every year, and eventually they get it right.
Eventually it does happen, yes.
I feel a little bit identified with that group because I thought it was going to happen last year, but they did start it, but it wasn't to this degree, which is I thought would happen last year, right? But this year, yeah. And then there's the so there's the political arena that's going to be very divisive also. So there's the UFO stuff, then the political arena. There's always something about political arena. The weather, right? And one that we didn't cover.
Court.
Huh?
We didn't cover the court one.
Yes. So legal thing,
thing.
people taken to court, or
I guess
people
this was a bit
found
of
out.
legal court stuff.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
Yeah,
I
if
guess,
you mix Trump and legal court stuff, it's like
you have
double
both
power.
of them. Yeah, you have both of them on that one. Yeah, for sure. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. Second part, don't forget.
It's gonna be. It should start right now, like any second now.
Yes.
Generally speaking, what you're going to hear for the next 10 minutes is what's in the paid for second hour. And this will be...
I don't know why he kept saying 10 minutes.
A preview of how our show goes, the next 10 minutes or so. I say or so because I don't know if we'll have a timer on it, a countdown timer, or we'll just have go till the question is finished, or we'll go through the intros and then a few minutes of conversation. I'm not sure how it's going to go yet.
Okay.
But when we find out,
we'll find out.
We'll tell you. Okay. Ready? Do we snap our fingers?
Okay.
Welcome to our second half of Driving to the Res. Hi, Larry.
Hi.
Hi, Inelia.
Hi.
And we're continuing our conversation on mystical effects of this month's mass media headlines. I'm Ashley Swill, CEO of iBenz Academy, iBenz Method Mentor, corporate HR leader, mystic, and yoga teacher.
Hi, I'm Ileana Rogero. I'm a mystic, mentor, psychic meditation teacher, and an architect.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Kara Consigli. I have over 15 years of experience in online education, 30 years of experience in gaming, and multiple lifetimes of occultism.
There you go.
I'm Fred Guerin, aerospace engineer, pilot, dancer, student of the occult, and that's it.
Well, with that, we do have multiple mystics together. So we want to check out some of the topics that were discussed in the first half with all of our perspectives of the panelists. And of course, continuing this conversation with Larry and Inelia. Fred?
It was interesting that the narrative is calling the UAPs drones all of a sudden. I mean, that's a big deal. Why are we calling them drones? I mean, they were calling them drones even though the air traffic control report that we heard was saying that these things were going out to the coast and back inland like supersonic speeds. And these weren't pilots that were not understanding what supersonic speeds were. These guys were like, I think I'm not sure there was a military guy there, but there was a pilot from a transport pilot, and he definitely knew what speeds look like. And he was saying, they were going like twirling, going up. It's like, but what?
3,000 feet, and then back down to 15,000.
Right. And no airplane can do that. I mean, I don't even know what they mean drones, because they keep saying they're car-sized drones. What is that? There's no such thing as a car-sized drone. It's like,
if someone were to know, would that be someone like you? I mean, would you be aware of drones and your professional capacity? You know what I mean?
There's nothing that's certified that's the size of a car that's allowed to be in the airspace like civilian. There's nothing. There's right now what's allowed to be in the airspace is toys, like those DJI kind of drones that are just a couple of feet across max for like a big one, or littler ones like the one that you have.
Yeah, mine is right under the legal limit by 0.01 gram or something. 140.
Yeah. I don't think it's that small, but I mean it's small enough so that they say it doesn't have enough weight and energy that if it hits something, it'll do much damage. And something the size of a car will do a lot of damage if it hits something, because and we don't even have laws yet that control those things in regular airspace. Maybe out over Alaska, Canada, at the far north, they'll let something like that fly, or in the military. But here, no way. So what is it about? I mean, why drones?
It reminds me of the UAP, which the P phenomenon, right? It's like very vague and a catch-all term, and a drone could be one of those flying little toy things, or it could be like you're a sleeper drone, or it's like a type of machine. Like, it's very vague and very out of the blue in terms of this new terminology, which is kind of suspicious.
It is, and it's almost like they're trying to downplay the UFO UAP connection by calling them drones. And because
Right.
it was weather balloons before, right? Oh, it's a weather balloon, whatever that means.
A weather balloon is pretty much flying across the country, doing its reconnaissance of the whole entire country, and then it's going to go up to Alaska, and then we'll shoot it down in the Arctic somewhere where we can't get it, and you can't see what it is that we shot it down. But we did shoot it down.
That was real. That was real stuff.
Yeah, it was 1940 whatever. There was a weather balloon that went down in, was that in the desert somewhere? Roswell. Didn't they have a weather balloon that fell down there?
Sure, that was a weather balloon. Blew up alien pieces. I mean, weather pieces. No.
It is clever though, in a sense. I mean, I don't know how much research you've done since. I mean, this story, the first story in our list of stories, this story has continued to persist far, far, far beyond, the the if it were drones being flown by rando people. It's already lived its 3 days of life 10 times over, yet it's had congressional hearings and secret hearings. And I don't know about your YouTube feed, but my YouTube feed, I can't turn it on without somebody else who I know and has another and completely different perspective talking about this, like Stephen Greer with Dana Carvey, comedians from all those ridiculous, stupid movies, they have a podcast. And they brought Stephen Greer on to explain to them this drone thing, and he's like, "You ain't seen nothing yet. It's this is the yeah." And we talked to, or I listened to Courtney Brown and his remote viewers, and they have another completely different perspective on drones. Yeah, right.
Right, and then Trump got on there on one of the YouTube feeds in a press release, and it was like, the government knows exactly what they are. And then they said, well,
What is it then?
what are they? And he says, I'm not going to tell you that.
He didn't say, I don't know.
No.
He didn't say that. He didn't say.
Can't say.
The question, have you been briefed on it? And he said, I'm not going to tell you. And what was it? I'm not going to tell you. This is not like.
He's like, but he's not the government yet because he's not been inaugurated. So he's like, the government, the Biden government.
Quite funny, right? Right.
Yeah. Which is, there's something else that's going on too, because, I mean, and the same thing is, I had a roommate in college, and he became a national broadcaster, and he went all around the country and ended up in Texas on, I think, Channel 4 or something like that, and then retired. And so I'm still following him a bit on YouTube, and he still does reporting things. I know he's in the know because he says, "Oh, I was out hobnobbing with this star or that star," so he knows some stuff. And he moved to Costa Rica strangely a year ago with his wife. They sold everything and said, "We're out of here." So I don't know what he knows, but he moved to Costa Rica, and then he got kind of sick of it. Now he's part-time in Europe. But he just posted saying that, yeah, I didn't believe of this drone thing. And then I was on the East Coast hanging out and I saw them with my own eyes, and it's something weird. And so I guess once a newscaster, always a newscaster.
I think you're right about using the word drone to invalidate it, to downplay it, like you said. I think that's a big clue there. Why they're using that word.
Right. Now, instead of it's a UAP or a UFO, you just seen it's probably just a drone.
Right. Look at all those drones.
Look at all those drones. There's a ton of drones up there.
Mm-hmm. To me, go ahead, Ash.
It feels like it's like they're going to keep trying whatever sticks, and whoever they can, like Larry said earlier, whoever they can recruit. If the hot air balloons or balloons, whatever, didn't catch you, the weather balloons, if the UAP didn't catch you, the UFO isn't catching you, then it's the drones now trying to catch you, right? And really, I'm sure for some people, it's all of those things work, Yes. It's all about the draw that getting that hook, right?
I feel a little weird because in my official capacity, I'm trying to certify a large drone.
Word?
It's not here yet. I won't say who it is.
How large?
Large. Car size. Car size.
I'll just be curious, just all of a sudden all these car-sized drones show up everywhere.
Well, it's not done yet. It's
Yeah.
years away. So,
Do you think these drones that were cited, do you think they've been let's say certified or validated by the air traffic control and military and government officials like FAA and whatnot?
oh, definitely not. The what do exist is military drones. They have things. I mean, remember, I don't know if you've heard of the thing called the Predator. It's it looks like an airplane. It's got a jet engine in the back. It's sort of upside downy looking, but it's
Looks like a plane.
it's like a plane, but it's big. I mean, it's like the size of an SUV or a couple SUVs kind of thing flying around, and it's made for surveillance. It's full of cameras and things.